Hey folks, thanks for signing up for that email mailing list. This is kind of a little deep dive into chicken picking, which I've done many times on different formats, but here's one in all one concise place. Of course, the idea of chicken picking. So there's a bunch of different things that go into it. I play with my fingers a lot. I'm going to start there. So the idea of the chicken pick is a couple different things. It's the idea of muting opposite a conventionally plucked note. So if I'm on the A string of the guitar, let me just demonstrate this real quick, kind of close up. If I put my first finger on the A string of the guitar, put my thumb down on the same string, my thumb is going to pluck a note that's muted because your first finger's right there, so you get this pluck. Sorry, that E string is going a little bit. Pay no attention to that. There we go. Okay? And then I'm going to pop up with that first finger. So between those two, so you get a little bit of that thud with your thumb and then pop it with the first finger. So even just grabbing a string. But there's also this idea of, like for instance here, I've got my thumb on the D string and my first finger's on the G string. So there's this thing that happens when the lower string is being plucked by the thumb and the very next string up is done with your first finger where you're popping up. And you mix that up with the actual chicken pick, which is the muted. You can take like a blues scale and just I do this little run where I'm going to do thumb on the low string. And the very next string, I've got my first finger. And then I got to go back and forth. And the idea of playing a rhythm pattern like this, just this old rock and roll pattern. But I'm going to do that chicken pick on the A string. When I pop up with that first finger on the A string, pop up with that second finger on the D string, third finger on my right hand on the G string. So that's the idea of chicken picking with the thumb and the finger. There's also chicken picking with the pick and the middle finger. Now you need a little bit of a nail. I have a little bit of a nail on my middle finger to pop the string, and I'm holding the pick. I use these Jim Dunlap Prime Tone 3 1.4 millimeter picks. They have a pointed edge on them. They're small picks, they're heavy. But I'm holding that with my first finger and my thumb, and then I'm using my middle finger to do this hybrid picking. So again, on the A string, I'm going to use that middle finger, which I'm using a little bit of a nail to hold the string. The pick's going on the same string. The pick hits a note that's muted because your first finger's right, middle finger's right behind it. And then I'm going to pop up with that middle finger and get that pop. Because here, that's brighter sounding than the thumb and the finger. So they both have their purposes. That's the idea of doing a chicken pick. And with my middle finger on the next string up, the A string, or I'm sorry, the B string. So that's the idea of doing some of the chicken picking. I can get into a whole thing about hybrid picking and doing all kinds of different exercises. But one more quick little chicken picking thing I'm going to show you is this idea that you can actually choke up on the pick and just do, instead of using another finger to mute, I'm actually going to, every other note is going to be like a pinch harmonic. So if I do it. So I'm alternate picking, and when I'm alternate picking, every other note is that pinch harmonic. That also works for that rhythm pattern that I was doing earlier. I would hear Keith Richards doing something similar, but what he was doing is that he was just doing all downstrokes. But now we're using our palm muting to get that harmonic. You get the idea. There's a little buffet of some chicken pickin' fricassee as a special thanks for signing up for my doggone mailing list. We won't inundate you too bad, but we thought we'd just like to have a little conduit for us to reach out to you when we have new things to announce. Tour dates, new products, new things that we're doing online, all that kind of stuff. So thanks again, folks. We'll see you soon. Gregory Koch here in the Orange Room. Adios.